Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
The NFL regular season is wrapping up, but there's still time to get in on the action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. That's $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. The app is so easy to use, and there are so many different ways to bet, like live same-game parlays. Find bets in the new Explore tab. Make a parlay in the Parlay Hub, the best way to find popular parlays, and more. So visit FanDuel.com/247 and make your first bet a layup. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
Must be 21 plus and present in Arizona, Colorado, Connecticut, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, permitted parishes only, Massachusetts, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, or Wyoming. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under an agreement with Kansas Star Casino, LLC. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG in Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee, and Virginia. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342 in Arizona, 1-888-789-7777, or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut, 1-800-9-WITH-IT in Indiana, 1-800-522-4700, or visit ksgamblinghelp.com in Kansas, 1-877-770-STOP in Louisiana. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net in West Virginia, or call 1-800-522-4700 in Wyoming. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York, or visit oasas.ny.gov/gambling. Standard text messaging rates apply. Sports betting is void in Georgia, Hawaii, Utah, and other states where prohibited.
Welcome to the Powercat Podcast, GoPowercat.com's Kansas State Athletics Show. Make sure you're subscribing to our show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Now, from the GPC studios, here's your host, GoPowercat publisher, Tim Fitzgerald.
Welcome to this special edition of the Powercat Podcast. Not just an audio form today, video, joined by Ryan Wallace. Of course, I'm Tim Fitzgerald, and quarterback Avery Johnson. Avery, let's just get started here. How is it being on campus and kind of starting this phase of your life?
It's been a lot of fun so far. It's obviously taken a little bit of getting used to living the college life, but I mean, just kind of getting down here. I had a lot of help from the coaching staff and people like that, and obviously the older players. So they've made the transition smooth, and it's been a lot of fun so far.
Any type of football things you're able to do already?
Yes. So we've been lifting. We started lifting last week. So we had 4 lifts last week, a run, and then we've had a lift this week. Early this morning, we've been lifting in the early group, the mid-years. And we've been doing some captain practices, some 7-on-7, kind of team-led stuff, obviously, because coaches can't be out there when we have the balls for NCAA rules. But on top of that, just kind of work on my own with some of the other players, some of the younger guys, just going in and getting in some work on our own. We have all the tools and all the stuff around us for us to get better. It's just whether or not we want to use it or not. So I've been trying to utilize that as much as I can since I've gotten down here.
Along those same lines, Avery, for somebody that, isn't or has never been a student athlete at K-State, specifically with football, how far does that access go for you? I mean, do you feel like as a player, you guys have access to the veneer and the indoor? Is it, if you want to go up there at 3 a.m. and throw balls around or whatever, I mean, is it open to you?
Definitely. I feel like they don't put a limit on when you want to work and what times those are, obviously. So, I mean, our key cards are set up to where at certain times the building locks, but I think that's just for safety reasons. So veneer is a little bit different. I don't know if we can necessarily get into veneer whenever we want, but I know that the indoor, I'm pretty sure if you want to go up there at 1 a.m. and put the code in and throw balls or run routes at 1 a.m, I'm pretty sure you're allowed to do that. But I also know they like to have the training staff in office whenever we're doing any type of work, or if that's work on our own or different type of stuff like that, just so the players can stay as safe as possible.
How daunting has the playbook been so far? And do you feel like you're at a point with it that you'd like to be at with it, or is it like your normal homework and then carving out a section of time each day to go through the playbook too?
Yeah. So since I've gotten down here, I've met with Coach Buford like pretty much every day. We've missed a few days here and there just because our schedules didn't match up or he had something else going on. But whenever I can, I try to match up with him since CK has been on the road recruiting, and just kind of go over the playbook for an hour, 2 hours, however much time we have. And he's been helping me a lot with that. And then I kind of take what he's provided to me and put in a little bit of extra studying time on my own. But the playbook up here isn't like any playbook I've been a part of. So it's definitely taken some time to learn it. But as long as I put in the time and put in the hours and do the right things, then I should have no problem learning it.
One more thing from me, Fitz, that I'm curious about, if you don't mind. I'm more off the beaten path of football. Let's just talk college in general. What's kind of been the most fun part so far about just since you've been on campus? What are some highlights that, are kind of away from the football field?
Yeah, so I've been to a couple of basketball games so far. I got a chance to go to that K-State basketball game, which is like no other game I've been to. Winning in overtime, especially against a team like KU, who is K-State's biggest rival, and beating them in what I guess you could say is their sport. And on the basketball court was crazy. Everybody rushed the court. Jerome Tang has definitely done great things with that program. So just being able to see that in person was crazy. And just being able to spend time with, some of these guys that I only got a chance to meet on the phone or text in group chats, just kind of being down here and be able to go through this process with them and being able to spend my days with them and weekends with them. I'm definitely building new friendships. So that's been a fun part of this journey as well.
Well, Avery, we've kind of tricked you. I'm going to bring in another guest here. We've invited someone to join us here. Hopefully he'll turn on his camera. He's connecting right now, to kind of talk to you about what it's like to be a freshman on campus, getting thrown into everything, and becoming a part of the football program as a quarterback. And hopefully we'll get him here in a second. Josh Freeman, former Kansas State quarterback, joins us now. And of course, Josh played in the NFL a long time. Josh, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it very much.
Hey, thanks for having me.
What kind of advice would you give a young quarterback that's showing up on campus? He's been here a couple of weeks. He's got a lot to learn, something you've been through. So what kind of advice would you give Mr. Avery Johnson?
I mean, so long ago, but take it all in stride. It's kind of a really cool opportunity, especially leaving a semester early, getting in there, and you'll have an opportunity to meet, and get acclimated with the players. You'll have a chance to do the off-season workouts. And by the time your class, guys in your normal class get in, you'll already have good footing, and they'll look to you for leadership. They'll have all sorts of questions, advice. And then it'll also give you a chance to bond with the older players, because, as a quarterback, you're the leader. And it'll give you a chance to get in there and show these guys what you're about, whether it's just off-season workouts or throwing the ball around or just hanging out around campus. So it's definitely exciting. And, and you obviously know how to play football. So just focus on taking care of everything around that and make sure you've got a clear head and everything kind of out of your way so you can focus on football.
Josh, what would you say were some pros and cons to being an early graduate out of Grandview?
Obviously you miss out on certain things from the high school experience, which wasn't really that big of a deal to me. But I definitely had FOMO a little bit when my friends were, getting late in the semester and, they're all calling me like, hey, how's it going? I mean, I'd go back every now and then on a weekend. But that's really the only con that I saw. From a pro standpoint, there's so many. The idea of getting in and having an extra, like the whole semester, you have spring ball. It's really, really, really important, especially, obviously you're a competitive guy and you're going to want to get in there and, throw your hat in the ring. So it's important to get in there, start understanding the system, understanding the coaches, and then just kind of get acclimated entirely, because it's a big difference going from high school to college. And you'll find out real quick that you need structure in your life so you can take on, your class schedule and also football schedule, because especially when it comes around to the season, time is in very short supply.
Avery, I was going to ask you something here. We can bring Josh in together with this, but like at Maize, you're the big man on campus, right? Well, now you come to K-State, and this is something Josh he was right there in these shoes where he was the 4-star quarterback on campus when he showed up early too. Do you find yourself having to navigate the hallways a little different? And by hallways, I mean campus. That you're trying to just tell students I'm trying to go to class here kind of thing, or for the most part, do people kind of leave you alone like you were back at Maize?
For the most part, I get left alone. I've got approached a few times. I've taken a couple pictures, but most of that type of stuff kind of happens when I'm out and about off campus. If I go to the store, if I go get something to eat, and I see fans in Manhattan. But from the student standpoint, a little bit, but not too much. It's not too overwhelming. Most of the people just kind of say hi and keep going on, or say they're happy that I chose Kansas State. But for the most part, I don't get too bothered.
Josh, is that something you just become numb to after a little bit, or how do you handle that?
I wouldn't say numb, but it's definitely something that I think maybe the level that he's kind of elevated himself to, in his town, around campus, like high school campus, he's a recognizable figure, and now it's just going to be kind of magnified even that much more coming to college. And I mean, right now it's, I don't know, I just remember being kind of this time of year being kind of slow around campus, basketball's going on. But I mean, once the weather starts warming up a little bit and the hype and excitement for football start, really coming back get turned back on, you'll see a lot more. I'm sure you're used to dealing with things like dealing with expectations, dealing with fans. But I don't know. There's nothing really like the appreciation from college girls. So it's about so I'm sure you'll enjoy that. But one thing about Manhattan, and I'm sure you already experienced this, is it's definitely a football school. This year they're doing great at basketball, but the fans are just quality people. We were passionate about the program and passionate about seeing you succeed. So I mean, never take that for granted, and just enjoy it. Enjoy every minute.
Avery, when Josh came out of campus in 06, is that correct, buddy? It was expected that he would end up being the starting quarterback, and he was. You don't have that pressure on you with Will Howard around right now. What are the kind of things you're trying to accomplish here during this first semester on campus?
So far, it's just been being able to learn the playbook, like we kind of talked about earlier. There's a lot of stuff that I have to learn before I can even show what I can do on the field. And also just hitting the weight room, trying to put on weight, get stronger, bigger, faster. And we have a great strength staff who's helping me develop my body in that way. And also just learning as much as I can from the guys that have been there. Just being able to have somebody like Will to be able to learn from, and just trying to be a sponge and learn as much from him as I can as possible, because he knows what it takes to be successful at the next level. He won a Big 12 championship last year. So if there's anything I can take from him, I'm obviously going to take it and use it to my advantage whenever I get a chance to see the field.
Gosh, I believe you had Dylan around when you showed up, if I'm recalling correctly, the time frame here. But what do you look for from the veteran quarterbacks as a young quarterback coming in?
Well, just kind of their way of, just like you said, it's good to take everything in like a sponge. And obviously, the older guys, I think there was Dylan Meyer was kind of the older guy that had probably the most experience, and I think it was Marcus Webb, Alan Everidge, Kevin Lapina, and I think that was our group. But really from Dylan, and Dylan, rest in peace. He was an amazing kind of leader. He's kind of the old soul sort of guy, but he just wanted everybody to have a great experience. He wanted everybody to, learn and get better at football. And then he'd organize a bunch of just random parties. He was a great dude, but he was very inclusive in the way that he went about handling things and bringing in the new guys and developing relationships with them. And the big thing is like the playbook, because there's lots of different systems. You go from one system to another, and it's just being able to associate whatever the new play calls are with, philosophies or plays that you've run hundreds of times in your high school career. But having an older quarterback to look up to makes a world of difference, because there's so many things that go into being a quarterback and being a successful quarterback at that. Just pay attention to these guys, and obviously when the time comes to compete, do your thing, man. Show them what you got. But for the most part, just watch, because I kind of, not that I had the attitude of I know everything, but that's one of the dangers, especially being so highly touted. And the previous level, you were a master at it. You hit this level where you kind of did know everything and you kind of were the guy, but this is a whole new ball game. Entirely different set of groups, different opponents, more complex schemes, and the guys you're playing against are a little better, So being able to just gather anything that can help you down the road from a guy that's already been out there and has already played and already had success, I think that's going to be really crucial to just pick up on the things that he shares with you, whether it's him doing it or you just observing and figuring out what he does successful and see how you can incorporate that into your day-to-day approach.
Josh, I'll ask you one more thing here, and this might be a tough one to dilute it down to the spot that Avery's at, which is, having only been on campus for about 2 weeks now. But, Avery aspires to be in your shoes as an NFL quarterback one day. And there's a distance between where he's at now and that time. But is there something looking back that you could, again, tell Avery now, or kind of put yourself back in his shoes, only again being on campus for about 2 weeks, that would help him for the NFL level? Again, there's a lot of things that he'll have to think about over the next couple of years and improve on and hone in on, but kind of diluting it down to one thing that he could at least start right now to prepare him for that.
I would say just having an understanding and an appreciation for, the timer, like whatever the stands of time, right? The timer's already started, right? So every opportunity you get to study, there's nothing worse than uncertainty when you break the huddle and you're not quite exactly sure what you should do. So I'm sure you have access to the playbook at installs, and the coaches are always happy to share whatever. And I'd say just being a student of the game when it comes to understanding your playbook, a student of the game when it comes to learning your teammates. And then, dude, it's going to fly by, but if you just appreciate that on the front end going in, and you just grind, you work, you're always the most prepared guy. And then, like I said, the weight room is also very important. I don't know, I think I was about 215, I think, when I first got there, maybe 220. And by, I'd say the end of my freshman season, I was getting close to 250. So the weight room's definitely going to be a different thing. They got the training table, so the diet. But I mean, you're young, dude, but just don't take your youth for granted. You left high school early and you're on campus early. Maximize that time, maximize that potential. I remember I used to have it's kind of creep in where it's like, oh, well, I'm here early, I'm getting a jump start, I've got time. But the time, before you know it, it's going to be the spring game. And right after that, it's like, boom, you hop out, you get a little time to go home and do whatever. And then bam, you're right into that first training camp. And it happens just bang, bang, bang. And I'm sure you've been there 2 weeks. I mean, I wouldn't call it a dark 2 weeks, but I remember they put me in Haymaker Hall. And I think I was in there with just an engineering student who was just kind of a quirky dude, not a football guy. It was just kind of a funky experience, but it was a good experience because there's definitely something to be said for being on campus and getting there early, getting to talk to the coaches, getting to kind of see what K-State's offense is going to be about. And then it's also great that you get to show them you know what I mean? Obviously you've known these coaches, you've talked to them in the recruiting process, but now you're actually there. So now they can actually see you and actually start working towards, what their goals are for you. And they just get to see you on a day-to-day basis because a highlight tape's one thing, but being able to consistently come in and be that guy, be a leader, be a hard worker, that's another thing. So I would say take every advantage of being there early and having the time around the coaches, the other players. And I think it's going to be great.
Avery, I need to ask, how different do those college workouts hit when you're in the weight room with the staff and they're getting after it?
No, they're different.
Yeah.
It's different than anything I've been a part of. So I already know whenever we do these. So we haven't even started run and lift days. So whenever we have to run and lift on the same days, I can already tell those will be pretty tough. So,
bro,
but yeah, I don't know how to put it into words.
Have you puked yet? Like, is that a thing yet? No.
I don't really puke like that. I've never puked before.
Josh, what'd you say about leg days?
Oh no, I'm saying wait till you start the leg day. You start like the lift and the run days, and you have like a heavy leg day and your legs are just shaking. You're already, you're going to be sore for the next 3 or 4 days, but then you got to go out and run. And then
they call Friday RIP leg day. So
oh yeah,
we run stadiums and then we go do heavy squat. So
we had to do these things called Tony Hawks. It was just like, in hindsight, talking to the coaches, it's like, all right, it makes sense. You got a bunch of like young dudes who, they want to go out and like have fun and party over the weekend or whatever. So they would absolutely crush us on Friday mornings. And then you kind of thought to yourself, like, I don't know if I want to go out or do anything on Saturday or Sunday. We did this thing called Tony Hawks, where we literally every step in the stadium, we started on one end and you ran like 5 position groups and you ran up, all the way up, back around. You ran every single step in the stadium. And like towards the end, like probably the last quarter of it, there were guys like hiding behind trash cans and stuff, and guys were like cramping up and puking. It's just not fun, but it's good team building activity. But yeah, so that I do not miss the college weight room and conditioning experience. That was like a lot, but it was good, but it's going to be fun.
Josh, how much does it change when you get to the league and do they just kind of expect you to take care of your business? You're a professional now and be in shape and do all those things?
Yeah. You see like the emergence in these different like training facilities around the country. Like the one I went to was API, but I think it's called Exos now. But, like guys kind of just, they go in and they train, just getting ready for camp. And then, so yeah, when it's like when you have OTAs and like kind of spring ball sort of action, you're not like, none of it's mandatory. The weight room's not mandatory, but if you have a weight room there, you obviously most guys lift and after. But yeah, they just want you ready by the time you report for training camp. So guys do it different ways. Some guys are in there quite a bit. Other guys will go out to California or Florida or wherever their home base is, and they'll just kind of train on their own and come in and just be in shape when it's time to go. To be honest, it's definitely on the player more so than the strength coach, because if you come back and you're not in shape and you don't have a massive contract and you're not truly invaluable to the team, you're gone. You know what I mean? So it's more on just the players. College, there's more of it's more of like a team building, like camaraderie experience where they literally try. It's like, it's sadistic, dude. They try to put you through the most crazy stuff. It doesn't necessarily relate to football per se, but it does relate to mental toughness and, having to lean on each other and push each other to get through some of these workouts.
Josh, let me ask you, I think you were, now that you and Avery know each other, maybe when you come back to K-State, you'll have some familiarity there. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was there maybe a chance that you were going to come back this last season to maybe open the door and that fell through, but maybe that'll be on the table again this year?
Yeah, that was something that we discussed in terms of a lot of schedule shuffling, and but yeah, this year I definitely want to. I'm heading up there. I want to say February 21st for a basketball game. I'm gonna get up there and check it out. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back to more football games, because it's been kind of, when you had the whole pandemic thing, and everything's just kind of been, I'm going to say discombobulated, but just everything kind of a little out of sorts, schedule-wise. But yeah, definitely going to make it back up. Looking forward to catching Avery in action. Maybe come up to the spring game, see it get going. But I'm definitely excited about K-State football.
Avery, let's start with you, and we can kind of end with this, and we'll start with you and then go to Josh. Super Bowl pick and why?
Because they have the best player in the world on their team.
I agree. Yeah, I think Chiefs by $1 billion, baby. Let's go. It's going to be. In all honesty, I was surprised about the NFC Championship outcome game. I wonder, they've literally blown out all their opponents. The Eagles, or I guess they're both their opponents. They blew out the Giants and they blew out the Niners, which was kind of a shock, but I think the Chiefs are all around a better built team. I think Eagles might have the edge in defense, but I think the Chiefs, like you said, they've got the best player on the field anywhere at any given time, and Patrick Mahomes. And then you got a supporting cast. I was pleasantly surprised with the defense and the D-line yesterday, how they stepped up, got hits on Burrow. I think they held them to like negative yards, or not negative yards, like 0 yards for the first quarter. And yeah, dude, there's nothing like I never played for the Chiefs. That's my one big NFL. It wasn't a regret. It just never really happened. But I love seeing them win. I grew up in Kansas City. I grew up just a massive Chiefs fan. So I picked the Chiefs as well.
Well, guys, I appreciate it very much. Josh, I'm glad to hear you're kind of reconnecting a little bit with Kansas State. You're a valuable part of the Kansas State football history. So anything we can do to help facilitate, we're in. We'll help you out. Avery, welcome to K-State. You're the first generation to get to use that indoor facility throughout your career. Josh will be kind of blown away by it. It's pretty amazing, isn't it?
I'm definitely excited. Avery, I'm excited for you and excited about you, man. Looking forward to see what you get going, and it's going to be cool, man. Enjoy the ride.
Thanks.
That'll do it for this podcast. We appreciate you listening to this edition of the Powercat Podcast with Ryan Wallace, Josh Freeman, and Avery Johnson. I'm Fitz. We'll talk to you real soon.
Thank you for listening to the Powercat Podcast. Make sure you're subscribing to our show at Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you get your podcasts. Powercat Podcast. All rights reserved. GoPowercat.com.
With Blue Link Plus, you can access your Hyundai Tucson Limited remotely. Doors unlocked, temperature set, lost car found.
There it is.
Get complimentary class-leading Blue Link Plus. Call 562-314-4603 for complete details.